question is to Lenny. I looked at your slide for the 10-year vision, and it has a lot of interesting technologies in there, AR, VR, AI, and all that. But the one technology that I found missing, which is very relevant to fintech, was blockchain. So not only this is interesting because Facebook obviously is one of the innovators and technology leaders and all that, so you would think they would be interested in that, but also there's a huge disruption that is expected to happen to the core business of companies like Facebook in terms of decentralizing some of the applications and all that, doing things peer-to-peer, where people get to keep their identity instead of putting it in a centralized platform where you have big honeypot that is prone to attacks. At the same time, you get to identify any fake accounts, and obviously this was a big problem recently because of the US elections and all that. So I wonder what's your take on that? What's the strategy of Facebook relative to blockchain? And do you think this will actually cause big disruption to the core business of Facebook?
Okay, so we are approaching the financial sector in two ways. One way is that how we communicate to people and how you deliver a message for any kind of service you're offering. And the second one is how to facilitate transactions between people and financial organizations. And this is where our strategy lays at the moment. So we're talking about peer-to-peer payments, we're talking about facilitating banks and retailers to connect with people and sell their products or make transactions. We don't have a strategy at the moment for Bitcoin, and I like very much this question. I need that? For the camera, sorry. However, the way that the financial ecosystem is changing is really redefining the way we want to be part of that. And our communication with all the financial organizations at the moment is very intense, but the key area we are looking into is facilitating, not trying to create a new technology for that. So I will not give you a direct answer for the Bitcoin question that you're
I wasn't
making.
asking about Bitcoin,
Okay.
blockchain.
Sorry, blockchain, sorry. We are not looking into that at the moment, but I guess it will come into the conversation at some point when we talk about how we facilitate transactions between organizations and people. So that's the focus we have, and all the rest is going to follow as well on how they're going to be deployed. We have a plan for, so across the EMEA, we've already launched in UK and France peer-to-peer payments, and we're looking how we're going to develop our strategy. We'll deploy our strategy in the Middle East and Africa region. Actually, in 2 months from now, we're going to have a financial services salon. We want to hear from the market and see how we can actually support them to develop. Okay, that's it.
Just to add to that, I think one of the things we've got to recognise is that the way financial institutions work is changing. The legacy way of banking and the way banking was done is changed dramatically. And one example we found in terms of looking online is the expectation, whereas up to date, opening an investment account would take maybe 2 days, where you fill in the paperwork, you post it off, you go through the AML check, the bank verification, all that is done, then the money's passed across the client from a point of actually signing the paperwork and having the KYC done to actually having the investments in place could take a week. I mean, that's a traditional way of doing it. We've got in our online proposition trying to hone that down to, at first we managed 24 hours, which we thought was remarkable. And then I met somebody end of last year who said, 24 hours, that should be 24 seconds. Well, we're aiming for 15 minutes now. The AML verification is the challenge. And he said, but there's software out there. And interesting enough, the thing we recognise, we would want to use platforms like Facebook. So we do our marketing through that. It's controlled, it targets, it's in the right process. But when someone clicks and comes through, we want them to be able to go through, put detail in. From point of actually pressing, saying, I want to open an account, having into the details, they should be able to get within a few seconds of verification about saying, you're done, that's it, it's cleared. And the blockchain is where that's going to work, because the transparency and speed with which it can work, it's not going to rely upon a third party to actually evolve and put a process in place where they're placing fees as well and barriers to that point. So this is where the change is happening. And we want it to happen. We always talked about how we can take our banking onto, we can access it on the mobile. I think it was someone yesterday saying about Barclays, having their first internet access, and it's not about mobile first now. For some people, it's going to be mobile only. We're not going to be looking at our laptop, even our internet. That's not what we're going. It will be on the mobile. And in fact, the days of the mobiles is numbered. The smartphone, in 10 years' time, we won't be sitting here looking at these. The wearable devices that we're looking at won't be in our pocket in this format. It will have changed again. From 10 years ago when the smartphone was introduced and it came through, in another 10 years, even maybe less, it'll be a very different, and the Apple Watch has already seen some of that part of the way move, but the wearable devices and the way things are working is going to change dramatically again. And as in financial services market, we need to move with that, because the thing is about accessibility, transparency, and ease of use, and that's where it's going to work.
So it's all about the infrastructure of the financial organizations. So I'll give you an example. I think it's Akbank at the moment from Turkey. So they wanted to offer loans to young students, and they want to do that because these people, because of the age, they're always using that. So they want everything to happen here in a very short time. So what they did is we identified exactly which are the people who should be probably interested into that. We create the lead generation form, which is native to the platform. So young students could easily put their data, and the moment they clicked on the call to action button, they were sent to the form where they could give the rest of the data. I can tell you they had a confirmation of the loan in less than 10 minutes. The cost per acquisition was so many times lower than all the other methods they were using. They were trying to see how they can scale it up. So some things start from small. You need to see for a specific audience how this is going to work. And then you try to see, do I have the infrastructure for that? Can I really commit to the way I'm going to serve these people in the right way? And the moment you see what are going to be the new KPIs and the new kind of benchmarks you have, then you try to scale it. So for any form, because transparency is a priority one for everyone right now, the moment the infrastructure of the financial organization can really deliver that, then we can see the means how to actually portray that and bring the people to take the activity for that.
I want to add a compliment to Facebook Financial Services, as Facebook has been our most main channel to get new investors, and we're using. There are different target groups what they're using, like financial freedom, and it's not people who really like to, millennials who aspire to become financially free, and that's the lowest customer acquisition cost what we have had, and it's if you have a good product and people trust you, then I think Facebook is the best tool to move and get this information viral. Yeah. So thank you.
Yes, my question is from the Facebook. As you may know, in some countries, Facebook has been filtered, and people does not have access to that. And you may know that Mr. Pavel Durov, the founder of the Telegram, he said that he is going to use blockchain for his system, and nobody can filter this. I would like to know that if there is any strategy in the Facebook like this that to prevent the government to filter the social media or no.
Okay, that's a challenging question. So as we said that one of our key goals is connectivity, so bring people connect, and of course use our platform as well to have access to information, entertainment, and knowledge, everything. We work with the governments to be able to let us give access to the people, and we don't share our data, so we keep everything very confidential. However, we are very much into being transparent, and after the situation what happened in the US and with the elections, we try to see what's the golden rule for that. We have different kind of platforms, so it's not only Facebook, it's Facebook family of apps. So we have Instagram, we have Messenger, we have WhatsApp. All of these are means of communication with people and also means of transaction with people. So I will not have at the moment to give you our strategy for this kind of challenge we are facing, but I'm focusing on what are our key goals: transparency, people, and keeping their data confidential, and working with the stakeholders in order to give access to people, to knowledge, and our platforms. So that's it. Okay.
Again, I have one question for you. Sorry for the others. Well, first, thank you very much for the presentation. It was a great presentation, and really to see that how Facebook is playing with the emotions as well. And actually, I have two questions. And my first one is, we often talk about ecosystem. And actually, my question is that as much relevant for Facebook, because Facebook is so powerful that you are the ecosystem on your own? And does it really make sense to have partners when you have one of the most powerful platforms in the world? Or does it really make sense to have partners for you because you have direct access to any clients almost? So yeah, my question in terms of financial services, is there a consideration to be in an ecosystem with FSI institutions? And then my second question would be, we are seeing some countries where you can do a payment via WhatsApp, for example, not in every country, but it's happening. In some others as well. I think in the US you can do them directly on Facebook. Is it just a trial test? Or could we expect in the future that it might be like Alibaba and go to a full range of FSI service to be offered by Facebook?
So when it comes to the ecosystem, yes, we have an ecosystem of our own, which is we develop all our services and products. We try to understand based on the insights and that we get from people, so what they actually need. And as you saw from our latest operating, with a huge contribution to the ecosystem. That's another area we're really focusing on that, how we can actually support the SMB business across the world, and especially when it comes also from women, and we have this She Means Business project, to help them starting their own business and doing what they can do with the least of concern of how to do the funding, of how to do the financial transaction. Because the more easier it is, the better it's going to be for the productivity and efficiency of everything they're going to do, and they're probably going to discover growth, something we're really all looking into, not just going back into what we knew and we try to get a growth of a single-digit number, but also try to discover growth in areas we never thought of, because the easiness of operation really helps us discover this kind of growth.
Thank you all the speakers. It was really very nice presentation. Now I would request Mr. Azam Ghani to please present the memento to all the wonderful speakers.